welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my updated brow routine. So as you can see, I'm not wearing any of my brows right now. I did the rest of my makeup, so I'm going to be doing just my regular brow. This is something that took me a little bit of a while to get the hang of, so don't feel bad if you have really tried to do your brows and you still haven't gotten the hang of it. It's okay, it took me a little while too. This is just the way that I like to do my brows. This might not be for everybody, but that's okay. I get a lot of questions on how I do my brows personally, so this is just how I do them. I am not a licensed cosmetologist. I didn't go to school to learn how to do brows. This is just what I've picked up on and what I like to do for my own brows. So the only things that I'm going to be using today is I have two different shades of the Anastasia Dipbrow. I also use the Brow Wiz. So it's a little excessive, but I have a light shade which is soft brown, and then I also have the darker shade which is chocolate, and then my Brow Wiz is in soft brown. I still don't totally know if these are the best shades for me because the hairs, like my brow hairs, are kind of like gray toned brown, where my hair is like a warm brown, more like the chocolate. So I don't know. Whatever, this is just the way that I do it, and I've had people ask me how, so I'm just going to show you. And also you might need concealer. I like to use the NYX concealer pot because it's just easy to get into. Cream concealers are a little bit easier to use when you're trying to sculpt out your brows. And the last thing I have is the E26, I think. I'm sorry, E29 brush by Morphe. It's got a little teeny tiny angled point on one end and then like the little brow spoolie on the other end, which truthfully I don't care for this spoolie as much because it's a little bit bigger, whereas the Brow Wiz one is really skinny, and that's the one that I like. But this is awesome for your brows, and I'm sure that Anastasia makes a brow brush, but this is the one that I like. So to get started, my brush, as you can tell, is kind of dirty right now. So all I'm going to do is take a little bit of 91% alcohol, which I put in this little bottle, and I'm going to spray a makeup wipe with it and just get all of the old dip brow off of there. Okay. And I kind of just dry it off with my fingers so it's at a nice point like that. See how skinny that is? That's what you really want. So to get started, I start off with the soft brown because I feel like that is easier. It's easier to start with a lighter color than it is a darker color. So the biggest issue that I have had with my brows is, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this one, the arch is like right here in the middle. Like it's like I'm missing hair right here. And this one is like fuller for whatever reason. So I just comb through my brows straight. I go up a little bit and then straight through to kind of like make sure they're nice and even. And you can kind of see right here, see how that's like missing a little bit of hair? So I try to fill that in so that it matches kind of this one. It's important to remember that your brows are sisters and not twins, so they're never going to match perfectly, but we can get them close enough. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Anastasia tweezers. Her tweezers are the best ones that I've ever used. These are the pink ones, just because they're so like sharp and they grasp really, really well. So as you can see, I'm just kind of, there's a couple of hairs right here that I'm going to tweeze. And just usually every like couple weeks or so, I will just go through and make sure that there are no hairs that are out of place. And the best way that I do this is I fill in my brows the shape that I want, and then I will just tweeze any hairs that are outside of that shape. Okay, I just dip my brush in the dip brow a little bit, and I kind of swipe it so that it still has that perfect point. It's kind of hard to see, but that perfect point, because that's what I want it to be. I try to keep this part very straight right here, and I kind of want my arch right here, kind of towards, I guess, the outside of my eye right here. Okay, so I'm just drawing the bottom line, kind of where I want it to be. And the reason that I start in the center and then come back on the inside is because I want this inner like corner to be lighter. I don't want it to be as harsh because that's when you can kind of like look angry. That's when you get angry brows, and nobody needs angry brows. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. Who am I to judge? Okay, and I'm just kind of pushing the product into the hairs because I obviously want this product to match my brow hairs, my actual brow hairs. I feel like my brow hairs are really light compared to like most people. So I'm getting a little bit more product, and I'm just going to kind of, I'm gonna comb down these hairs a little bit, and that's where you can kind of see. So like when I comb down these hairs, you can see where the root of those hairs are. That's where your top line is. That's where you want to start, is the root of the hair. So I'm just gonna kind of make sure those are combed down very slightly. We don't want to move the product around, but I'm gonna start right here. And I'm just kind of swiping. And I'm just kind of creating that arch. So I'm gonna push the product down now towards the center of the brow. And it's okay if you like mess up a little bit, because I mean, we're gonna go in with concealer and clean everything up. So it's not like a huge deal. Okay, so for the tail of the brow, I don't know if you can tell, but so I'm gonna put those brow hairs back into place. I just kind of swipe downwards, kind of towards, like you wanna go towards like your ear. So you don't want to go down too far, you don't want to keep it straight up. So now is when I'm going to use the darker color. So I'm going to take chocolate. I'm going to focus that on just the outer tail. So I'm going to kind of shape that arch a little bit more the way I want it. And then focus on that outer tail. And again, this is something that we're going to clean up, so it's not like a huge deal if it doesn't look perfect. Actually, it's not a huge deal if it doesn't look perfect anyway, because nobody's perfect, so side note. I tried to keep my arch right here, so I'm just gonna press the product right there to kind of create that like straight line underneath my brow. Okay, I'm being very light-handed on this inner part because I really don't want this to be too harsh. Very light-handed, just kind of almost like I'm just creating a shadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the spoolie of the Brow Wiz, and I'm just gonna kind of push that product into the hairs. This is gonna kind of blend it together. And if you push too hard, it's gonna kind of wipe it away, so you wanna be careful. And also, this is gonna keep the hairs, this is kind of step one of keeping the hairs where we want them to be. All right, so you can kind of see where we're at with step one. So I'm going to take a really teeny tiny oval shaped brush. You can use a flat brush if you like. This is just the one that I like, and this is actually by E.L.F. It's an E.L.F. concealer brush. So totally affordable. And I'm just going to dip this in the concealer. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I'm just gonna kind of dip it into the concealer just on the very tip of the brush. Like, we don't wanna go overboard. And I'm just gonna sort of carve out the line. And you want to make sure the concealer is the same shade or as close to the same shade as the concealer that you use under your eyes. So I'm going to kind of push that where the tail is because I went a little bit. And then I'm just going to carve out the top of the brow. So I'm going to go in with the Brow Wiz, and this is just what I'm going to use to kind of lightly with the side of the pencil kind of do the inner corner here, because this, like I said, this part I want to be very light. So I'm just gonna be slightly filling in that inner corner. So I really went pretty light on that. So to kind of smooth this inner corner here and make it a little bit more, I guess, natural looking, I'm just taking my Beauty Blender, and this is what I used to do my foundation, and I'm just gonna be pressing it right here 1 or 2 times, and you can see it kind of deposits a little bit of the foundation that I had earlier. You can see what I mean, like it's right there. And I'm just gonna take that spoolie and kind of blend that lighter foundation color into the brows. Okay, so the final step on this brow is to go in with the clear brow gel, again by Anastasia. I swear I'm not sponsored by her, I just love her products. It really sounds like I'm just trying to sell Anastasia products, but I'm not. So for this side, look at the serious difference. Like, no brow, brow. Okay. And on this side, so this is for people who are missing brow hairs or who feel like you've got like a bald spot like I do. It's okay, it happens to the best of us. So for this side, I'm going to be mimicking what I did on this side, but since there's no brow hairs there, I'm gonna have to kind of create it. And I'm also kind of missing a weird spot right here too. So I'm just going to kind of fill that in. Also, when I'm doing this, I have my elbow like planted on my makeup desk. I think that makes a little bit of a difference. So I'm just gonna kind of draw in little slanted hairs right there. And I'm using a very light hand when doing this. Okay. So I feel like that gives my eyebrow a little bit of a better shape already. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the concealer, and I'm gonna try to straighten up this line the best I can. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of straighten out this arch because I feel like it's a little bit thicker than the other one. And this little section right here that was bald, you do not want to go in with your spoolie too much in that section because it's going to wipe it away. Because like if you, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it, but maybe. Okay. So if you look, you can tell, I think up close, that I don't actually have hair there. So if you're taking the spoolie right in that area, it's gonna brush away that product, and that's not, since this started out as white and the rest of this started out having color, that's gonna be more obvious. Clear brow gel, and remember what I said, I'm gonna be very careful with that part that's like naked, that has no hair. Okay, so that is it. That is how I do my brows. Everybody does their brows differently, and this is just the way that I do it. I do it a little bit darker, obviously, because I think that that matches my actual hair. So the brow hairs that I have are really, really light. I don't know why, because my hair grows in really dark, but like the hair on my like legs and my eyebrows and my eyelashes is super light. So that's just what I'm dealing with. So that's just how I do my eyebrows. They're not perfect. I don't think anybody's eyebrows are perfect. It takes a lot of practice. If you're blessed with really awesome eyebrows and you barely have to fill that in, then go you. But if you're not so much like me, got bald eyebrows or blonde ones or really light colored eyebrows, then this is probably for you. So this is the very classic Instagram brow, and this is just the way that I like to do my brows, so I hope this helps you guys. And if you do use this tip, then do me a favor and tag me on all social media, because I really want to see you guys doing it. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. What else is in this video? I don't know. I don't know what happened to the side of my face in the womb, but something horrible. As I drop everything off my makeup desk. My dirty background, don't judge me. I feel like you can't see what I'm doing. Drugstore. I just feel like I'm rambling at this point.